blood-borne pathogens. My name is Sergeant Lassie, and I'll be giving you all this class. Our training objectives are to identify what blood-borne pathogens commonly affect our society and our community, and identify ways to mitigate the risk of infection from these blood-borne pathogens. Next slide. Now, what are blood-borne pathogens? They are microorganisms that transfer through the blood that cause illness or injury to the body. Next slide. These are some of the types of blood-borne pathogens. And you can categorize them in two different categories: viral and bacterial. Bacterial meaning that most times they can be treated with antibiotics. Viral meaning in most cases you never get rid of it. It never goes away. Hepatitis. Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver usually caused by injecting drug, toxins, or infectious agents. There are 5 different types of hepatitis. 2 of them, A and E, are bacterial. The other 3 are viral. Hepatitis B. This is the most common form of hepatitis, transmitted primarily through blood-to-blood contact or bodily fluids during intercourse. It is very durable and can last outside of the body for several days. These are some of the symptoms of hepatitis B. Hepatitis C, transmitted in blood or bodily fluids. No vaccination exists for hepatitis C. Chronic liver disease develops in about 70% of persons who become infected with hepatitis C, and nearly all persons with acute hepatitis C infection become persistently infected. Acute meaning short term, chronic meaning long term. So even if you have short term hepatitis C, more than likely it will never leave you. It'll keep on recurring, keep on coming back. Next slide. Hepatitis B. One of the newest forms of hepatitis. It's only been around since the mid to late 70s. Transmitted primarily through injected drug use or sexual contact with an infected person. Next slide. Hepatitis E. It's a bacterial hepatitis and transmitted primarily through drinking water. It's caused by animals infecting drinking water with feces and urine. That's something to think about next time you're in Kuwait City and you see a water fountain. Next slide. No trick, guys. Human immunodeficiency virus. HIV is the virus most associated with AIDS. There is no specific treatment for it, no cure, no preventative medicine. Next slide. These are the ways to transmit the infection: sexual contact with an infected partner, drug use through needles, getting blood in your mouth and or nose or eyes. Next slide. A person infected with HIV may carry the virus without ever developing symptoms until they have AIDS, full-blown AIDS. Will eventually develop AIDS. Next slide. These are some of the symptoms of HIV. I'm going to hold here. Here's a quick FYI why this is so important to us. In the military, we get HIV tests about once every 2 years. HIV has a 6-month incubation period to where you cannot detect the disease for the first 6 months that you have it. So if you do the math, a soldier can be infected with HIV for 2.5 years before they ever know it, or before the military ever knows it. Can you imagine how many people a person can infect in 2.5 years? Not to mention, the military will not kick you out. They will not chapter you out if you got HIV, hepatitis, or any of these diseases. You're not chaptered out, nothing happens. Next slide. Syphilis. Sexually transmitted disease caused caused by bacteria. It's caused by bacteria, meaning that in most cases, if you catch it early enough, you can get rid of it with antibiotics. But if you don't catch it early enough, it will kill you. These are some of the symptoms. Next slide. Now, how can we mitigate the risk of infection? How can we prevent it? Anybody care to throw a suggestion out there how we can mitigate the risk of infection? Protection?
Wear gloves anytime
Wear
you're
gloves.
interactive with anybody with fluids. And get in a bubble.
That's a big protection, because if you guys notice a pattern with all of these, just about all of them, with the exception of maybe one of them, all of them were transmitted primarily through sexual contact with an infected person. Next slide. Practice safe sex, wear PPE, exercise hygiene, treat all blood or bodily fluids as if it is infected. So that means if somebody has a nosebleed, it doesn't matter if it's your battle buddy, the proper thing would be to do is to get gloves and clean it up. You can clean all these viruses up with a bleach and water solution. Next slide. This is just a summary of what we talked about, ways to mitigate the risk. Always report all suspected exposure. If you're suspected, if you get blood in your mouth, whether your buddy is sick or not, if you get blood in your eyes, always go get yourself checked out. Always see a physician about it. Next slide. These are the references for this class. Next slide. Any questions?